Good morning friends, welcome back to Parnika tutorials. In the last video, I have discussed about first come first serve scheduling algorithm with an example. I hope you have watched that video. If you did not watch that video or if you don't know that concept, I request you to go back and watch that video and come back to this video. In this video, I want to discuss about Convey effect, which is an issue in the first come first serve scheduling algorithm. So I request everyone to watch the complete video for better understanding. To explain the Convey effect, I have considered two scenarios. With these two scenarios, you will understand what is the issue with the first come first serve scheduling algorithm. Look at the scenario 1. We have three processes P1, P2, P3. Their arrival time and burst time is provided. The arrival time of process P1 is 0 units and burst time is 100 units. Okay. Now, first we will compute the completion time, turnaround time and average waiting time for this scenario. Then we will look at the scenario 2. To solve any scheduling algorithm, we need to draw the Gantt chart. Okay. Now we will solve this example using first come first serve scheduling algorithm. Okay. Now look at the ready state and running state. At 0 units of time, what are the process has arrived to the ready state? Process P1 only arrived. Okay. Then as you have only one process which will be dispatched to the running state. Okay. Now P1 needs 100 units of time. Now first come first serve scheduling algorithm is a non-preemptive scheduling algorithm. What is meant by non-preemptive scheduling algorithm? Once the process has entered into the running state, then it will be given the entire its required burst time. Once it is provided and completed, it will go to the terminated state. We are assume here that none of the process requires IO burst time. Okay. If the process needs the IO burst time, then it will go to the wait state from the running state. Okay. So process P1 will complete its task and 100 units of time. By the time process P2 and process P3 has arrived to the ready state. Now both the process has arrived at 1 unit of time. Now first come first serve scheduling algorithm need to look at the arrival time. But in this scenario, both the processes arrived at the same time. Then which process I need to give priority to dispatch to the running state? Whenever there is a tie, we will look at the process ID. This process ID is 2 and this process ID is T. So which process has the less ID? Process P2. So that will be dispatched to the running state. Okay, so process P2 needs 10 units of CPU burst time. So it will complete its task at 110. Then process P3 will be dispatched to the running state. It also needs 10 units of time. So at 120 units of time, all the processes completed their tasks. Now we will find out the completion time, turnaround time and waiting time. Okay, is it clear? Now how can you find the completion time? Look at the Gantt chart. When the process P1 has completed its task at 100 units of time, process P2 110, process P3 120. Now we need to compute the turnaround time. Turnaround time is completion time minus arrival time. Look at the process P1 completion time and arrival time, which is 100 and 0. So 100 minus 0 is 100. 110 minus 1 is how much? 109. 120 minus 1 is 119. Now we need to compute the waiting time. Waiting time is equal to turnaround time minus burst time. Turnaround time and burst time, you look at 100 minus 100 is 0. 109 minus 10, which is 99. 119 minus 10, which is 109. Now we need to compute the average waiting time. Average waiting time is equal to waiting time of all the process sum by number of process, which is 0 plus 99 plus 109 by 3, which is equal to, if it is 100, if it is 110, it will be 210. So 208. Okay, are you able to understand? 208 by 3. So for the scenario 1, we got the average waiting time as 208 by 3. Now we will look at the scenario 2. how we can solve the scenario 2 using the first come first serve scheduling algorithm. Okay, if you look at the arrival times, the arrival times are only changed 100. Now we need to compute the completion time of all the process, turnaround time, and the waiting time. Okay, are you able to understand? So again, let me draw the Gantt chart. At 0 units of time, what are the process has arrived? P2 and P3. Now both the process have arrived to the ready state at the same time. Then we need to look at the ID. Process P2 has the lowest ID. It will be first scheduled to the running state. As it is a non-preemptive scheduling algorithm, it will be given entire 10 units of time at a single instant. Once it is done, it will go to the terminated state. Then at the time process P3 and process P1 is there in the ready state. Now which process has to given higher priority? The process which has arrived first to the ready state will be given high priority. So process P3 has arrived at 0 units of time, so it will be given high priority. It needs 10 units of CPU time to complete its task. Then P1 will be completed at, sorry, it is 20. Then this will be 120. Is it clear? So at 120 units of time, all the processes completed their task. So process P1 has completed 120 units. Process P2 has completed 10 units. Process P3 has completed at 20 units of time. Now we need to compute the turnaround time. Turnaround time is completion time minus arrival time, which is 119, 10, and 20. Then waiting time. Waiting time is turnaround time minus burst time. 119 minus 100, which is 19. 10 minus 10, 0. 20 minus 10, 10. Now we need to compute the average waiting time. Average waiting time is equal to sum of all the process waiting time by number of process, which is equal to 19 plus 0 plus 10 by 3, which is equal to 29 by 3. In the scenario 2, we got the 29 by 3 is the average waiting time. Now if you look at the both the scenarios, which one has the highest average waiting time? Scenario 1, meaning is that on an average, all the processes are waiting at 208 by 3 amount of time. Now, which one is better? 29 by 3 only better, because compared to 208 by 3, 29 by 3, 29 by 3 is less. So the scenario 2 is better. So now let me take the scenario 1. Then you will understand the issue with the scenario 1. What is the issue with the scenario 1? Look at it. Why its average waiting time is very high? If you look at the process P1 has arrived first, but its burst time is very high, so it will complete its task at 100 units of time. However, process P2 and P3 has came at 1 unit of time and 1 unit of time, but they need to wait till 100 units of time because this process has arrived first. So first come first scheduling algorithm will dispatch it to, but what is the problem here? This process has the longest burst time. So it is taking 100 units of time, then only process P2, process P3 are getting the chance to go to the running state. So it is an issue. This issue has been overcome here. Look at this scenario. Not overcome means this scenario, if you look at here, process P1 and process P2, process P3, their arrival time is different. Meaning is that process P1 has arrived first, process P2, P3 has arrived at 0 units of time. So which process has arrived first? P2, P3 has arrived first. So look at their burst time. Their burst time is low. So process P1 has arrived next. Its burst time is very high. So the problem is not solved here. In this scenario, it was there. In this scenario, it's little bit less effect. But what is the main problem with the first come first serve scheduling algorithm? The process which has arrived first, if it is having the longest burst time, other process need to wait for a long time. It will be an issue. This issue we will call it as a Convey effect. Okay, this issue has been overcome in the shortest job first scheduling algorithm. In the shortest job first scheduling algorithm, we will consider the burst time of the process. The process which has the less burst time will given a high priority. I hope you have understood the Convey effect, the issue in the first come first serve scheduling algorithm. In the next video, I will discuss about the shortest Java scheduling algorithm. I hope it is clear for you. Still, if you have any doubts, feel free to ask me in the comment section. I will try to clear your doubts as early as possible. Thank you for watching the complete video. Have a nice day.